I know that when we were in Ireland, you told me you hadn't watched it yet.
No, I didn't watch it.
You have to film yourself watching it. Okay, so we need a real reaction of you watching it as it happens.
Oh, my kids started fact checking me on that. And they watched the Armor Story one. They're like, I didn't know this. I didn't know this when I lived on a farm. I didn't know. And I'm like, fuck, man. Like, but the rise and fall title hurt me in my feels a little bit.
Another, in my opinion, rather flagrant use of the move comes to us courtesy of Travis Bajent. He pulled the old javelin out of his bag of tricks in a match versus the notorious KotT during the equally notorious, pseudo-cancelled WAL Finals of 2017. Although I think it's pretty obvious what Bajent was doing here. Most of the online backlash went towards KotT for his, in my opinion, pretty understandable outburst after the match. Here we go. Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you might be. Hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. How's it going out there in the arm wrestling world? Let's take a look at who's in chat, shall we? James Harlan, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Chuck, hey, what's up, man? Hope you're doing well. Gods of War says good evening. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well as well. Gods of War, that's a lot of wells. School Lady Boy, what's up, man? Good to see you. Gian says, what's up, Arms and People? What's up, Gian? TOS Move in the house. Hey, TOS Move, how you doing? Name not needed. What's up, man? Good to see you. Whole day being food poisoned, says Chuck. That's too bad, man. Sucks. Yeah, I've had that happen before. Yeah, terrible buffet place. Was sick for like a week straight or something. Lost a lot of weight. Which I guess can be an upside, right? You're trying to make weight for a match or something. Maybe you want to get food poisoning. So what do you all think of King of the Table? Let's get a poll going. I want to see how many of you watched it. I'm gonna assume most of you did. But I still want to know. There we go. Hey, Maxime Olsen, how you doing? Good to see you, welcome. The Arm Historian Live. We go live every Sunday. Same time, same place. Name Not Needed says, I went to the event yesterday. Awesome, man. How was it? Yeah, I think we're gonna be maybe having a couple of people who went to the event in chat. Possibly, at least. But how was it, man? Give me some details. Eric says I didn't pay for it. Okay. Good for you, I guess, Eric. Yeah, I liked the event. I think in general it was good. Couple of things I liked, not so much. I guess I'll get into it. Because that's going to be the topic of the stream today. We're going to cover the matches. There's going to be spoilers, so fair warning right here. And just in general, how I feel about the event. And then I'm very interested to know how you guys feel. I might open up viewer call-ins in the second part of the stream. Not 100% yet, but I might do that. Just to get a couple of people's opinions. If they want to chime in live on stream, they can. Name Not Needed says, great, was my first one live. Awesome. Yeah, I've never been to King of the Table or East vs West event either, so yeah, awesome. Glad you had a good time. Name Not Needed. Did you go alone or with friends? Or were you meeting some people there that you knew? Chuck says Eddie Hall is great. Yeah, man. Eddy Hall was a very pleasant surprise to me personally. I enjoyed their match. I think you could argue it was the match of the night. Eric says Eddy Hall is the best troll ever. Very entertaining match. Yeah, I agree, man. Chuck says I sent you in a PM a funny video with him giving money to a homeless man. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because I was gonna show it too. I ran across it on the subreddit. Yeah, and I'm definitely gonna show that video. Gonna watch a couple of videos, of course, not of the event itself, but yeah, a couple of videos that have to do with the event or kind of the aftermath of the event, stuff like that. Name not needed said took the wife. Awesome, man, awesome. Do you arm wrestle yourself? I might have asked this before, but I forgot. Takipaki says King of the Table was like 5 hours from me, too far to drive in snow. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, technically I could make my way to Istanbul relatively easily by plane, but still it's kind of a hassle. And like if I go, I don't really want to go just for the event. I want to also take some days off and go there as kind of a holiday, right? Makes sense. TOS Moose's cross, he was amazing. Yeah. It's one of the matches that in my predictions I was really looking forward to. It kind of went like I thought it went. Yeah, but it was a match I was really looking forward to, and Krusty did great. I think he's on the upswing again. He kind of, with his Matt Mask clause and stuff like that, I think he was kind of iffy lately. A little bit. But I think he's definitely on the upswing again. Chuck says Krusty seems to be back on gear. Yeah, well, if you ask Krusty, at least until some years ago, I don't know if his opinion has changed or what he would say has changed. But if you ask Krusty, then he'd tell you he's completely nutty, right? Much lower level, but yes. Okay, yeah, of course, much lower level. I think all of us arm wrestle at a lower level than those guys. Although sometimes we have chat members like Reno in here, so I guess that helps elevate the average arm wrestling level of chat, right? Takibaki says if they come to Massachusetts, I'll go crazy. Yeah, man. If they ever come anywhere near to where I live, like even if it's 1 or 2 countries over, out here in Europe, I definitely go, for sure. Hey Atlantis, how you doing, man? Welcome, what's up? Chuck says, because it's obligatory for him to say that as he competes in WAF. Yeah, possibly. Might be the reason, but he could also, like, just not say anything on it, right? Like a lot of other people that compete at WAF do. Like, he could just choose to remain silent on the topic, but throughout his career he's always been kind of outspoken about yeah, him not using anything, right? Hey, Muscle Bike in the house. How you doing, Muscle Bike? Good to see you. Good to see you, man. Thanks again for, like, I saw you dropped a 5, what is it, pound or euro message, doesn't matter, on my latest video. Thanks again, man. That's very generous of you, Muscle Bike. Yeah, I've been slacking on replying to a lot of comments on my videos, just because I've been working more on videos, and I think I released like 4 videos this month, which for this channel, if you've been a long time viewer, is yeah, that's a lot of videos in 1 month. So I'm kind of focusing more on making the videos. I'm also working together with one of the viewers who's been very generous with his time and efforts on a very big video that I hope to be dropping before the year is out, but yeah, I don't know if we're gonna be able to finish it by then. But yeah, it's gonna be a long ass, hopefully entertaining video. Atlantis is actually not out delivering for once. Damn, man, that's like puts the pressure on me to perform, right? On a visual level. James Harlan says, Krasimir, if you do your history for one, the guy never lost to John Brzezinski ever, and he's the only person to beat Levan in a hook. Him against Paul Lynn was a joke. Yeah, I don't know if he never lost to John Brzezinski. I should know because I did an entire video on him, pretty long and deep video on Krasimir. And it's probably in there if he did lose or didn't lose. Hey, Spermies, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're having a good Sunday so far. Hope you're doing well out there. Chuck feels shitty, but the arm historian is live, so I'm happy. That's awesome. Musclebike trying out one of our new emotes. I like it. Gotten a couple more since we've gotten more members, so I'm very appreciative to anyone who's been a member for a long time or has given gifted memberships. Doesn't go unnoticed and stuff like that. Yeah, has kept me motivated. David says, hey, please, let's talk main event. It's 4 a.m. I'll go to sleep happy knowing what you thought, bro. Thank you for that, David. I kind of need that sometimes. Let's go to talking about the event, shall we? Let's talk about, we'll go over every match, right? But some matches, of course, we'll spend more time on, and we'll also talk about just in general how we feel about the event. I thought it was good, right? I enjoyed the event. I'll start with a lot of positives first. The venue was great. I think the crowd was for the most part really good. A lot of the matches turned out to be good. Some were one-sided, but that's to be expected. But I think a lot of them in the end were quite entertaining. So yeah, they did a lot of things well. I think the replays for the most part went well. The production value was good for the most part. There were a couple of snafus here and there. But that's kind of to be expected, you know. It shouldn't be, but it's become the expectation, right? So I think in general, you can call the event a success. For me personally, at least. From a viewer standpoint. Yeah, of course, I'll talk about the elephant in the room. Our main event. Levan versus Jerry Caderet. Very disappointing. I don't know if you've watched the predictions live stream last week. Kinda went along the lines that I thought it would go. I was hoping, I always stay hopeful, but it's it's the standard stance for me right now. Whenever Levan goes to the table, whenever Levan has a super match, I just automatically assume Levan will sweep the other guy. And I think if you go into the match with that kind of mindset, yeah, you'll never get disappointed. Hang on 1 second, guys. My cat is wanting to get in here. I'm gonna let my cat in. 1 second. There we go. Apologies. So yeah, the main match and the disappointments, but like I said, if you go into the match assuming that Levan is just gonna sweep the other guy, you end up not that disappointed. So I think it makes sense going into any Levan match with that mindset. It kind of hurts for me to say that, but it's true. Musclebike says, can't wait for an arm gods emoji. Yeah, I should really get on that. I do still have a spot left, I think, or two even. Yeah, Chuck, hope you're feeling better soon, man. Did you hear a fan of Barboza during the match? It was hilarious. No, I didn't really catch that, I think. I did hear some guy doing Arnold Schwarzenegger impressions throughout the entire live stream, basically. Very strange. Kind of weird that he didn't tell the guy to shut up. Moba Cry says, Eddy brought a lot of value to this King of the Table. Yeah, I'm not gonna show any of the matches for obvious reasons, because I want the stream to stay on. But I really enjoyed this match. it might have been my favorite match of the night. I'm thinking, I'm trying to rack my brain, like, what was a better match than this one? The Gabby Barbora match was really good. Yeah. That first spin Gabby took on Barbora was so impressive. Like, I was watching with a couple of training partners, and yeah, we were all really flabbergasted when she got that first spin. Chuck says the first round I thought Jerry had something, but then Levan adjusted and run over Jerry. Yeah. Like the first round, it looked Jerry kind of stopped Levan for a second, like a little ways away from the pin pad, but yeah, got pinned quickly afterwards. David says, I enjoyed Brian Shaw, Eddie Hall, and the most annoying thing was their audio problems. Oh, and the Arnold impersonator got annoying. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Kind of got on my nerves too. I don't really know why they didn't handle it. Maybe they tried, but the guy was like super persistent in trying to channel Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't know. But yeah, I really enjoyed that match too. I agree. Their audio problems were a bit annoying. They always are a bit annoying. I think there were a lot of breaks. I think like 4 or 5. That's maybe a little overkill. And yeah, one very important thing that I think kind of detracted a little bit from the event, at least for me personally, and I've said this many times before, it takes way too long, man. There's some serious fatigue setting in by the 5th and 6th match, and this is coming from someone who like thoroughly enjoys arm wrestling and is deep into it, is like very invested into it. Imagine if you were a new viewer. Imagine if you're just coming into the sport and you're like tuning in for the Eddie Hall Brian Shaw match, and you think to yourself, oh, I'll give some of these other matches a chance, right? Take a look at what arm wrestling is all about, and it just takes hours and hours and hours to get. Like, sometimes one match takes so long and the payoff is like a couple of seconds, sometimes even less, of an actual match. So yeah, I do wish King of the Table would have stuck to, like, how many matches did they have in their first editions? Like 5 or something, if that even. I really wish they stuck to that, personally. Just go for pure quality over quantity and get like very big names every time, and like a couple of like hype matches. I think King of the Table is a really good format and kind of venue for that, right? Like matches with not necessarily the best arm wrestlers in the world, but matches that fans want to see, like Eddie Hall and Brian Shaw. Chuck says Jerry looked bamboozled by the strength of Levan. Yeah. It's funny, there is always like this kind of a disbelief that seems to set into a lot of people who pull Levan for the first time, where they're kind of almost shell-shocked from the initial hit. Hey, arm wrestling fan in the house, how you doing, man? Arm wrestler's greatest illustrator. And David says, Eddie with like 2 weeks of training was awesome. Yeah, I agree, although people tend to forget that Eddie Hall was set to face... Eddie Hall had a super match before in arm wrestling. And he was set to face RVJ at WAL before the whole COVID thing happened. Or like before WAL collapsed, I guess. Gian says definitely the best match of the night. Yeah, it might have been. Chuck says when Mask asked why it is a fall, and at a point when Marcio had a late slip, the guy yelled, because it's New Jersey. That's good though. Gian says the Gabby Barbora match went the same way of the last time they pulled. Yeah, that's kind of true. That's kind of true. Still, I think a lot of people were thinking Barbora at this time would have swept more, right? Hey, Eric Harlan coming in with the $2 super chat. Thank you so much. Eric says, Krasimir versus Levan 100. Yeah, man. I even have a short. It's one of my most viewed shorts on the channel about the last time Krasimir beat Levan. He didn't pin him. I believe he won on fouls, but still, yeah, Krasimir is like one of the most underrated and one of my favorite arm wrestlers in the game. I think in my video it becomes clear really quickly that I thoroughly enjoy Krasimir and the way he goes about just training for the sport and approaching the sport in general. Hey, Top Troll King, how you doing? Says, hi everybody, I made Schwarzenegger impression. Nah, I watch from home. Can you imagine? Chuck says, during the other round, he yelled at the ref, come on, it was meant to be hometown advantage. Yeah. I think, in general, a lot of the matches just had a good entertainment value, right? I think you can never go wrong with a Matt Mask match, even though it was very one-sided. Matt Mask took the match in a very one-sided fashion over Marcio. But I think in general you can never really go wrong with a Matt Mask match. So yeah, I think the entertainment value was very high at this event. There was a certain point in the Eddie Hall and Brian Shaw match when it was right when before they slipped, when they were doing some maneuvers on the table, some pretty intense stuff, and there was this loud crack, and for a second I think everyone thought, oh no, someone broke something, but then Ray confirmed through the commentary booth that it was just a mic crack. I see there's about 45 of you in here, guys. If you could take 1 second, I'm sorry to do this to you, but if you can take 1 second to hit the like button, it supposedly helps, right? I would be very grateful. Chuck says, what do you want to say, that 8-hour East versus West is too much? Yeah, I think it is. And I think the fact that King of the Table is very quickly approaching the same runtime as East versus West events is kind of unsettling to me. I don't like that at all. David says, the ads killed me, and the CEO talk before main event was the adrenaline dump for me. Should have talked after the event. Yeah, that's another good point. I'm glad you brought that up, David. Definitely they could have planned that a little better, or just done that a little differently at a different time. Like, I think before the main event, one of the CEOs, or the CEO, walked up to the stage and announced the next event in February. A lot of people thought it was kind of awkward. Personally, I can't really fault someone for not having the best camera presence or whatever. But I do think they could have set it up a little better, and maybe, we're a little better on the timing. Would have been good. I know people who skip the middle of the event. Sad. Yeah, I hear you. I think quite a bit of people do that, actually. Brian versus Eddy was the best match by far. That seems to be the consensus, right? I see about 70% of you watched King of the Table 13, so keep in mind I will be spoiling match results. That just comes with the territory, right, of talking about the event. 1.4 gigahertz Max says, I don't understand how the production team still has so many issues. They're the real enemy of the sport. I hear you, and I think that's, I don't know, it's very difficult for me to comment on because I don't have a lot of experience with watching other sporting events, especially like one-on-one fight events and stuff like that. So I can't really say if it's better or worse, but I'm assuming from what I've heard from people, arm wrestling is still really bad production-wise. I've seen some posts, just scrolling through Reddit, I've seen some posts talking about how they couldn't believe how amateurish the event looked coming from an outsider, not someone from inside the arm wrestling world. Hey, thanks for linking my video, Muscle Bike. Yeah, I made a video on Jerry Caderet. Too bad he didn't do better. It's very funny because you can kind of see through the analytics, right when Jerry was losing, my views started plummeting. I'm not even joking. Like, right after the event, my views went down like crazy on that video. It just stopped getting views. Like, only like 20 or 30 an hour now or something. So yeah, very telling. I think people aren't quite ready to like watch a Jerry video after such a loss, which I understand completely. I understand. It's just a little unfortunate, right? Lago Rossi 3 says, what's next for Jerry? I don't know. I think they talked about it in the post-match interviews, right? It sucks because I want to watch these things with you guys. Unfortunately, King of the Table is not cool with doing that, as far as I know. I've received strikes before on my channel for using some like very small clips of their stuff. So yeah, I'm just not gonna risk it. It's not worth the headache. I wish I could watch these videos with you. I wish, like, not match videos, obviously, but like interviews, post-match interviews, stuff like that. I wish they had some kind of system in place where they would allow us to do that. But yeah, unfortunately I can't. So I'll just speak my mind based on my memory of the events and the videos that I've seen, right? I've watched a lot of the post-match events and stuff, so I'll just go off that. And if sometimes I get something wrong, feel free to correct me in chat. Top Troll King says CEO talk was the cringiest shit so far. Yeah, I think a lot of people share that opinion. Yeah, Matt Mask coming through with a big win. Good for him, man. I hope Matt Mask is on an upswing. Arm Wrestling fan says Gabby looks stronger than last time. It was similar but better. That's the feeling I kinda had. Chaka, no love for the CEO either. Taki Paki says, in your opinion, Brian versus Philip Larson is a good match? It might be. Doesn't Philip have like more match experience right now? Although, yeah, it might be a good match though. Yeah, not bad maybe. I don't know if... Like, it's very interesting to see where this goes, right? The whole Brian Shaw thing. Like, will he try to actually maybe attend a tournament here and there? Maybe take some matches that won't be quite as profitable, but will kind of give us a better idea of where he truly is in the rankings and in the sport. Or, and I think this is the more likely possibility, will he go for what pays out the most, right? Because at the end of the day, I don't think Brian Shaw has a lot to gain by taking a match with someone that's way lesser known than him, right? Even if it is a quite accomplished arm wrestler. So yeah, very interesting to see how, like, which of those two options, which of those two roads he will walk down, right? I'm trying to get through as much of the chat as possible here, guys, so yeah, you'll have to excuse me lagging a bit behind. If I skip over your message, feel free to, yeah, hit me up again, right? Let me close my window here for a second. There we go. Arm Wrestling fans says, what do you think about Brian versus Prokopchik? I know you want to see it. I do. But yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon. But yeah, just the visuals alone would be worth it, right? Who won, Gabby or Barbora? Barbora won, but was a pretty close match. Way closer than a lot of people thought it would be, I think. And the video with Caro Peterson labeled as VR Isaac, yeah, I noticed that. It was like this promotional video which showed arm wrestlers that were going to face off against each other in following editions, and they put like VR Isaac's name and Carolina Peterson's face on there. Really weird. Arm Wrestling fan says, I hate the zoom in and constant angle changes from their back. What the fuck is this? Yeah, I hear you, man. Sometimes the replays were a little funky, like it skipped around kind of randomly sometimes. Gian says, honestly, it doesn't look amateurish to me. Yeah, I don't think there's that much to complain about really when you boil it down. I think in general, the event went pretty smoothly. I don't think they should be raising the price much more, if I'm being fair, unless they significantly improve their production value even more. But yeah, as long as they keep it at the same price range, maybe even take out a couple of matches and just go for some bigger matches. And it makes sense too, right? Because you need a distinguishing factor between East versus West and King of the Table. You need a reason why they are two separate events, right? I know they share a lot of the rankings and stuff like that, and rule sets, they're trying to unify it, which makes sense, but you still need like a hook, right? For, pun intended, a hook for the event, right? So I think having that hook be King of the Table is like for matches the fans want to see, right? Like very big requested matches that have maybe been a long time in the making. Like big feuds that need to be solved that aren't necessarily like gonna help improve the rankings in any way. But yeah, that are very attractive to viewers. And I think King of the Table can kind of take that niche for itself, right? In my opinion, at least, that makes sense. Daisy Duke says they should have had a pre-recorded package instead of CEO announcement, but they did it at that point because theoretically has most viewers watching. Yeah, I hear you. And I know that that's the best way to do it timing-wise, but then, like you said, and I think that's very astute here of you to point out that they should have just put up a video, right? A professionally rehearsed, well done, well edited video. I think that would have gone over way better. Chuck says, am I the only one noticing the camera guy looking like he had diarrhea the whole event? Well, he definitely does on this screenshot here. That's certainly true. Yeah, I wanted you guys to watch this video. I think I can show this much. I don't know where it's from. I hope. Let's all pray together that my channel won't receive a strike for just watching this small video here. But let's take a look. It's Eddie Hall. Giving some alms to a poor beggar. Gotta appreciate Eddie, right? And at least Devon takes it in somewhat good stride. Was it me or was Devon going a bit overboard sometimes during the event and the lead up to the event? Kind of felt that way to me. Maybe I'm just imagining things, but yeah, that's kind of the feeling I got, right? David says, my god, before I go to sleep, do you guys agree that Temu Infinity Gauntlet is ugly trash trophy? Yeah, I've heard a lot about the gauntlet and how people hate it. Personally, yeah. I agree, it doesn't look that good. I don't really care that much, if I'm being fair. I was just scrolling to see if I could find a picture of it by chance, but yeah. I don't really care that much how the trophy looks at the end of the day. Yeah, I wish it looked better, but yeah, it's like one of the least of my concerns, right? I think making the trophy look good is the thing you do like right at the bottom of the checklist, in my opinion. Get your production value way up. Yeah, get rid of all the technical issues. That should be like first on your list. And then way below a bunch of other stuff. Way below, like, get good matches, stuff like that, yeah, something like the trophy. Hey, the Claymore in the chat, how you doing? Big man Claymore, who I believe played a part in making Eddy look as good as he did on the table. That they also helped train Eddy for like a day or something, I believe. So yeah, you can thank the Claymore who's in chat for part of Eddy's performance there. Chuck says, how far can Matt Mass go in the 105 kilogram category, in your opinion, guys? I hope very far. Just on a personal level, I hope very far. The Claymore says, Eddy did what we did in training. Yeah, there you go. Gian said Philip would kill Brian. He manhandled Brad Grundy. Yeah, that was kind of my initial thought when someone mentioned that possibility of a match, but yeah. Yeah, indeed, Eric. Was kind of over for most people around that time. Was kind of a shift in Levan's career, I think. Yeah, I've been doing some research on Levan because I've been wanting to make an episode on him for forever, and I think I finally found something that's somewhat of a good angle to approach it with, so I've been doing some research on him lately. Seems to be a real pivot point in his career around that time. Xay says, Arm Historian, what do you think about the next East versus West in Georgia? Very interesting. I've heard a lot of different opinions about it. I'm happy that they're going to different countries because that gives me a little bit of a hope that they might someday even end up in my country. Or somewhere close to my country at least. So yeah, I'm happy about it in general. There's a couple of people that have brought up some political issues. I don't know in how far that will really play an important role there, but something to keep in mind, I guess. Levan's walkout was badass. Yeah, it was morkish, I agree. Jacobin, how you doing? Says a pretty great weekend. Yeah, it was good, right? Is it on YouTube yet? Says Jabba the Hutt. No, it is not, I think. I think in general, or like on average, they wait a week or something. Although King of the Table does wait longer sometimes. They're trying some new stuff, I think. There's also been talks that they're partnering up with ESPN, right? Which very interesting. I don't know how much of that will come to fruition actually, but I hope it does to some degree, right? I think I'm lagging behind a lot on chat. I'm skipping a lot of you guys here just to get a little more actual here. No, it's not too bad. I'm almost at the bottom. Okay, awesome. Careless Whisper was the best walkout song, says KL. Matt says, I wish Jerry had tried something different in later rounds. Yeah, I agree. It's easy to say, right? It's like an easier said than done thing, I think. Because in a match, of course, I'm not at the same level as a lot of these guys, but like speaking from personal experience, if you're in a match, especially if the other guy is way stronger than you, and you're like off-center on the losing side really quickly, it's hard to get out of sometimes, man. It's really hard to not go into, I can deal with this amount of strength, right? And I can only imagine how Levan must feel. Now, Jerry, of course, can deal with that way better than someone like me would be able to deal with that, just because Jerry is a way better arm wrestler, way more experience and all these things. But I think the basic principle is still valid, right? Top Roll King says East vs West in Georgia. Pick for Devon so he wouldn't have a chance to get left title in Supers. What do you mean with pick for Devon? Josh says Arnold impersonation was my favorite part. I think that's a pretty, funnily enough, that's maybe one of the most divisive things of the entire event, right? Because a lot of people really love that, seem to love that impression, but I think it got on a lot of people's nerves too. Sorry to do this once again to you guys. We're at about 80 viewers right now. If you could hit the like button really quickly, just takes 1 second. We can get the live stream out to a couple more people. Also, if you're interested in arm wrestling history or arm wrestling videos, I gotta give a quick plug to my channel. I make documentary style videos, usually between 10 and 20 minutes, sometimes longer, sometimes shorter, about all things arm wrestling, so check it out if you haven't. Jabba the Hutt says, where can I watch free King of the Table 13? You can watch King of the Table 13 for free, I'm sure, just like you can watch nearly everything that's got a little bit of popularity on the internet for free. All I can say is buy the pay-per-view if you want to watch it. try to support arm wrestling in that way. But if you can't, I completely understand, but maybe consider, you know, you can search it out if you really want to. You know, I'm not going to tell you what to do or what not to do, but consider just waiting a week or two for the videos to come out on YouTube. I think it's important to, like, I don't know. I'm not, who am I to talk, right? But I'm not going to give you, like, instructions on how to do stuff like that. Arm Wrestling fan says they have too much production, just hire freaking Gary Roberts. Where is Gary Roberts, man? I wonder. I wonder if Gary Roberts will ever come back. I use some of his historical footage so much in my videos, so yeah, I wish he would come back and upload a lot of the old stuff he still has in some basement or in his attic or something somewhere. Yeah, which other matches were good, man, that night? I'm trying to think. So you have the Gabby versus Barbora match, which was really good. Eddie Hall versus Brian Shaw match, which in my opinion was the match of the night. Paulin versus Krasimir. Unfortunate for Paulin. Was kind of, I know it's impossible, but I was kind of rooting for both guys. I really like both guys. I've had very friendly interactions with both of those guys, but I kind of figured that it would end up that way. The guy predicted it also last week. Krasi is just another kind of beast, man. He's so professional. He's such a... He stays so calm on the table, you know what I mean? And it just was on full display this time. He just... Yeah. Paulin was vibrating with energy. He was literally shaking. While Krasimir just... I don't know, it just looked like his third training of the day or something. Going slow. A lot of people are speculating on, is Krasi using right now? Maybe I should have him on. Maybe I should ask Krasimir. I've talked to him very briefly before. Maybe I should ask him if he wants to come on the live, right? And talk about it for next week. Jacobin says, Eddie understood the assignment very well. He seemed to really enjoy it. Yeah, and I hope he did, man. I hope he truly did. And I hope we'll see him again. I've got a feeling we'll see more of Brian Shaw, right? But I definitely hope we'll see more of Eddy too in the arm wrestling world. Trapped on a Slave Planet says, ugh, with ESPN comes death. Yeah, if you look at the track record of arm wrestling in ESPN, it's not great. It's not been that great. That's certainly true. Eric Harlan coming in with another super chat. Thank you so much, Eric Harlan. I greatly appreciate it. Yeah, thank you so much, man. That's great. He says, why do I feel like an artist? When I die, I'll be on a segment of your channel, Rise and Fall of Earnhardt. Yeah, how's your progression going, man? I know you've been trying to get some hype behind matches of yours. How's that been going? I don't think you're a guy who's afraid to change it up, right? Despite some previous issues you may or may not have had in the arm wrestling world. Thanks so much for the super chat, man. I really appreciate it. It's never needed, but always appreciated. Yeah, thanks so much. Arm wrestling fan says, want me to hit the like twice? Nah, once we'll do arm wrestling fan, thanks. David says, gotta applaud Levan for not getting bored and taking every match serious. Yeah. Sometimes I wonder, right? What if Levan had to pull like 3 or 4 times a year in order to maintain his title? Would he be able to maintain the same kind of peak if he pulled as much as some other super heavyweight pullers? Maybe. But I'd like to see it. Bob Anderson says, I want to see Devon versus Tobias left hand for next East versus West. Yeah, maybe. I I don't know, my first instinct is Tobias would run through Devon left-handed, but maybe Devon's left hand is better than I give it credit for, right? Especially since there's been like talks of him facing Morozov left-handed, which, yeah, to me is just insane. Let me grab a quick drink here, guys. There we go. Much better. Palco and Moranto was good too. Yeah, you're right, Chuck. That was a good match indeed. We shouldn't forget about quote-unquote lesser-known guys, right? That was a really close and good match too. Indeed, KL agrees here. Corey versus Tobias was an interesting match. Yeah. I'm thinking, who won again? Tobias won in the end, right? It was very close, very back and forth, but I think Tobias took it in the end, if I remember correctly. Remind me if I'm wrong, guys. Feel free to correct me there. Yeah, never enjoy a Lin loss, I hear you, Jacobin. Then again, I really like Krasi, so yeah, kind of torn there. Jude says there's a Discord that I believe hosts illegal paid entry watch parties for King of the Table in East vs. West. Sadly, can't report servers that ban people who ask about the legality of what they're doing. Yeah, I hear you. You can basically, I don't know, it's impossible, right? You can fight it a little, but it's impossible to get rid of pirating, and I'm not even sure if morally I think we should get rid of it. Like on a personal level. But I definitely understand people trying to protect what's theirs, right? Trying to protect their creation. Yeah, so personally I would say just buy the event or wait a couple of weeks and you can watch it for free. I'm way more forgiving towards pirating when like people refuse to release it for free at all. But I think with arm wrestling matches, you can watch them for free in like a week's time or something, right? Harlan kind of did the fall first. The rise on the way. Yeah, we'll do a fall in the rise. Roy7 says, hello gents, what a treat we got yesterday. Engin spoiling us with his work. The more they hate on him, the better his work becomes. I love it. Yeah, I don't know in how far Engin was involved with this tournament. He probably had some involvement with it, but I think technically King of the Table is under the purview of other people than Engin, right? I know Engin has kind of become the all-seeing eye of the sport. In a way. We should put him on the money or something, but I think like there's other directors there that are doing the brunt of the work for King of the Table. Muscle Bike says, I think Levan should pull 2 matches in one day for a real challenge. Yeah, I'd not be opposed to that. Yeah. What else can you do at this point, right? Roy7 is my guess. Main event, East vs. West 16, Gennady versus Devon. Yeah, that rematch is bound to happen. What weight is Devon at right now? Will he be going up so quickly? Chuck says, yup, Tobias won, yeah. 1-4-2, yeah. It was a tense match if I remember correctly. Like, inside the straps, I think Corey pretty much had him, right? But Tobias was just too quick and too good outside of the straps. I think, if I remember correctly. Chuck doesn't like seeing Corey lose, always kinda liked him. Yeah, I've got nothing against Corey. Seems like a nice fella. Arm Wrestling Fan says, what if top 10 trains to defeat Levan and Levan has to pull them every 2 months by pulling a name out of a hat on the same day? You know, people talked about WAL as being a circus league, but this sounds like a literal circus. Roy Sevens is $20 for some people in some countries. It's like a full week salary. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I'm definitely not of the mindset of you should just pay for the tournament and that's the end of it. But I think waiting a week isn't the end of the world, right? Jude says, I get people who can't afford to pay still getting to see the event. I think it crosses a line when someone profits off pirated content. Yeah, that makes sense too, to a degree. It's, I don't think a lot of people who pirate a stream would have bought it anyways, right? Suppose there were no pirate streams anyway. I don't think many people who watch those pirated streams would buy the pay-per-view. I could be wrong, but that's what I think. Devon is getting big. He said 270 plus. Interesting. Okay. Gods of War says, I think the best for the sport of arm wrestling is to show the events to maximum amount of people. I don't think people should go in expecting to make money. We should be more dedicated to the sport. Yeah. Okay, like, I hear you to a certain degree there. Gods of War. I think that should be on the forefront of people's mind in general, but money makes the world go round, man. It's like the truth, and it's... You need money to survive, so I understand that tournaments need to be profitable to exist. And I think paying athletes as much as possible is only a good thing to grow the sport. Because the bigger the prize purse, the bigger the names and the sort of people we'll see getting into arm wrestling. Money is a very good motivating factor to getting people to try out stuff, right? Try to get good at stuff. And I think it can be for arm wrestling too. Jude says thoughts on Devon versus Gennady at 115. I don't know, man. Really hard to say. My chat window here is freaking out a little bit, it seems. For some reason. It's kinda, I need to find a new way to do the chat highlights, because it's kinda bugging out on me for the past couple of live streams. Arm Wrestling Fan says, is Prudnik fallen? I don't know, man. I have no clue. Last time I saw Prudnik was, I think, in real life. I don't know if I've seen him pull a match after that online. But yeah, I don't know. He swept our local tournament, that's for sure. Roy Seven says, if not Devon Gennady, who would Devon pull in Georgia on February the 15th? Any ideas? Maybe message? Maybe. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing that match. What's going on with chat? Pages unresponsive. Yeah, I kind of noticed. Chrome, thanks for that. I'm gonna close out chat here for a second and reopen it. See if the chat highlights still work. Very strange, yeah. Maybe it's the massive amount of viewers I have right now and YouTube is crashing under its weight, right? That must be it. 60 viewers is causing YouTube's chat servers to crash. Yeah, I think I got it working again here. In one moment. Aussie Arm Wrestler in the chat. I just restarted chat and saw him in there. How you doing, Aussie? Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Let's see if the highlights work again, right? Don't seem to be. One moment here. There we go. Tobias lightning speed indeed. Roy 7 was rooting for Corey, very sad. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think Prudnik has necessarily fallen. I think he'll definitely come back. Possibly better than ever. I hope so, at least for him. You know, it can be easy, right? I don't want to speculate on like the exact conditions of what went down in Ukraine, his home country, or what made him leave, or whatever, any of that. I don't really want to get into that, but I just want to make clear that it can be an easy situation, right? It can be like very good for your training, having to potentially flee your country from an impending war without making any political statements. Yeah, I think you can be pretty sure in saying that, right? Lago Rossi says, is John versus Leon Knight the best match of 2024? It's a good one. I don't know, what is the best match of 2024? Like, recency bias says Bryan versus Eddy, right? But I don't think that's probably true. Probably been better ones, but I should take a look at it. Maybe I should do like a top 3 countdown or something before the new year is over. Maybe that's a good idea. Eric says, my last big match is on Alex Top Roll channel, has almost 40,000 views. Also, the promoter, David Kotlo, posted our match and over 1,000 people have viewed it. Awesome, man. Awesome. Maybe I'll get a chance to pull you one day. I'd be down for it. A Legend of Nelda, Tears of the Incels. Says Prudnik has fallen heroically in the defense of Kiev. Yeah, I don't think so, but thanks for that interjection there, Legend of Nelda, Tears of the Incel. Captain Boomerang, I like that one for Aussie Arm Wrestling. That's a good one, Arm Wrestling fan. Did Reno get injured? I hear them talking about an interim 115 champ match. Yeah, he did get injured pretty badly in his last match at East vs West. Unfortunately. Devon versus Levan is a possible match. Yeah, maybe. Lefty you're talking about, right? Zooming to Reality says, I know I'll praise him, Eddy. Still pulling like a novice. He's way too open. Yeah, of course. Like, Eddy and Bryan are still novices, right? Like, if you pull yourself, how well were you pulling after only a year or less in the sport? Like in Bryan's case. I don't know, I've seen Bryan pull a little bit before. Like on Juji Mufu's channel and stuff like that, but yeah. Aussie Armor says, Arm Historian, hope you're well, mate. I am doing pretty good. Aussie, thanks for asking. I hope you're good too, man. Thank you for the super chat, Eric Harlan. Thanks again, man. Says I will pull if you are a 2010 guy in the IFA. I think it's been since early high school that I've weighed to 210. It's been quite a while since I was 210. What is that, like 100 kilograms or something like that? Yeah, that's been a while. Eddy vs. Bryan was one of the most entertaining matches of the year, says Roy7. I agree. It certainly does feel that way right now. I need to let it sink in a little bit, and then maybe it'll go down in my rankings. But yeah, in general, I really do agree. Yeah, I like the event, guys. There's like... I'm thinking of other stuff we can mention. Eddy enjoying some smelling salts there. But in general, I really enjoyed the match, and just looking at comments and topics here on the subreddit, I see Eddy's awesome. Jerry needs to develop outside game to improve, which might be true. Stoked for the future, which is good to see. Jerry's only strong in his lane, of course. Feedback as a new fan might be interesting to take a look at. Just a few blurbs of feedback. I love the sport and it's so fun to watch, says Water and Diamonds here on Reddit. But if any promoter scour this subreddit, here's 3 quick thoughts. I'm not a promoter, but I will be looking at your 3 quick thoughts here. Water and Diamonds says, these events should be 3 to 3.5 hours, absolutely maximum. I prefer even 2 to 2.5. I'm a massive NHL hockey fan. But if the games took 6 hours, I promise you, I'd never watch a single game. Yeah, kind of agree there. He also says, reading old King of the Table threads, it's been said so many times it's tantamount to parody, but the production, particularly the audio mixing, needs help. Arm wrestling is ultra unique as a sport, in that competitors can banter throughout the entire match. Lean into this, so true. And this has been a talking point up to where it's a meme now. Yeah, they should really get their sound guys on point. And he goes on to say, I'm guessing this will be an unpopular take, but one fun way to condense time while keeping the same number of matches would be a Red Zone-esque arm wrestling production. Have 2 or 3 of the undercard matches going on simultaneously on a split screen. I think this would be so much fun and would be a great way to speed up the event. Make only the top 3 to 5 matches single cam. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that. I wouldn't necessarily go that way. I just cut the amount of matches firstly, and then just try to cut down on downtime as much as possible. Go to the rest grip straight away. I'm like beginning to lean more to just foregoing the entire hassle at the start where they're trying to get their own grip. It never works out. It always ends up eating like half a minute or something. Just go straight to rest grip. Like, don't go straight to strap, I get that part, but go straight to rest grip. Try to not take off the strap every time. I know sometimes it's really annoying when you've been pulling in the strap and the strap is all out of whack, but at least try to like keep the strap on. Try to readjust it somewhat. Don't take it off. Let the arm wrestlers go take some new chalk. All this. I think we need to be hard on those points and just, you know, cut out any dead air in that way. Arm wrestling fan says Samusha versus Nerdolet was this year, right? Therefore, it is the best match of the year, and that's a fact. Yeah, that was a very good match. You're very right. You're very right. Do you think Vitali has the best chance against Levan, says Raikou? A lot of people have him as a top pick, right? And I do think certainly he has the physical features to potentially overcome Levan someday in the future, right? I don't think if he would face Levan right now, probably I don't think he would beat him. He might put up the best fight. Maybe it would be Hermes, since Hermes already faced him once and kind of seemed to have gotten something in that match. So yeah, I don't know. I think it might be Hermes instead of Vitali, but I'm very ready for him to prove me otherwise, right? I'm very ready for Vitali to give it a try. Also, Vitali versus Devon, by the way, would be one of the most hotly anticipated matches ever, I think. Quite possibly. Was Robert Baxter featured much? No, not really. I think he popped up like very briefly, but I don't think so. They did have like an announcer during the pre-matches who did a pretty good job, I think, like a tall dude, an American. I also think, by the way, Sarah Backman did a really good job. She played a hand in the production and also commentated on some matches along with Ray, I think. And I feel like they made a pretty good duo in the commentating booth. So I also enjoyed some of her post-match interviews with some of the athletes. I think she's knowledgeable. She's pretty articulate. And yeah, I like her in general in that kind of role. I think she did a good job. Roy7 says, I agree. I think Hermes is the one. Yeah, probably, right? That's how it feels right now, and that's just based on how he did versus Levan, right? Juduval says, based on the Hermes and Devon match, it seems like crazy back pressure is the only way to get stops on Levan. Yeah, might be the way. Hermes and Vitali are left as the Levan hunters. If Levan's power level goes down, they got a shot. Yeah, I agree there. I'm thinking of like other candidates. I know Gennady beat Levan before. It's been a long time. Very true, but I know he did it before, and I think technically he would be capable of doing it again. I just don't know if he'll ever get to that kind of shape where he can possibly do something with Levan even today, right? The announcer was okay, Sarah was great, yeah, I agree. Hey Chuck, thank you so much for the gifted membership, man. You don't have to do that, seriously. Chuck already helping me out a great deal with some stuff behind the scenes too, so definitely don't have to do that, Chuck, but I appreciate it. Karma's Promise, welcome to the Armians and Fingerfolk. Give some thanks to Chuck there for that membership. Eric, thank you for the super chat, man. Greatly appreciate it. Coming in with what is it, like your 4th super chat? This live stream. It's Tuesday, December 17th, 7:30 p.m. EST time. Paul Passmore will be my guest on the Earnhardt Experience. Hope to have you there. Definitely remind me again. It's in 2 days, right? I definitely want to be there, Eric. So send me a PM if you can on Instagram or Discord, and I'll definitely be there for sure. Jacobin says Baxter will understand the length and pacing issue, probably. Yeah, I hope so. Chuck coming in with another gifted membership. Seriously, man. You don't have to do that. I greatly appreciate it. I hope you're feeling well again soon. Yeah. Chuck already, like I said, doing a lot of work behind the scene, helping me with one of my next videos, doing a lot of the grunt work, which I'm greatly appreciated for already, and then he's coming in with these generous gifted memberships. Alan Guibault, welcome Alan, or Alain, or however you pronounce it. I'm guessing it's Alain, judging by your last name, Guibault. So welcome. Be sure to thank Chuck in some way if you want. And David Simpson with another gifted membership from Chuck. Seriously, Chuck, too much, man, but thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. Muscle Bike says Sarah is a gem of our sport. Yes, indeed, I agree. Jerry versus Morozov. I'd like to see it. Like, I wonder if Jerry's code has been cracked fully. I wonder. I hope not. I think you still need to be strong enough, right? Roy7 says, Arm Historian, please explain to me how that fall in losing position makes sense. Do you mean in general, Roy7? Or do you mean a specific instance of it happening during yesterday's event? Because in general, it's a pretty easy concept, I think, right? If you're on the losing side of the table, meaning the side closest to the path where you would get pinned, and you make an egregious foul there, which would prevent you from getting pinned, that's basically a fall in a losing position, right? And oftentimes refs will, if they deem it a true fall in a losing position, they'll give the win to the opposite athlete, right? That makes sense. But if you're referring to a specific instance during the event, then yeah, tell me which one and I'll comment on it. Chuck, once again, thanks a lot. David Simpson, Alain Guibault, and Karma's Promise. Welcome to the Armies and Fingerfolk. You'll find some exclusive content on my channel there for members only. I also sometimes post some sneak previews of upcoming episodes. And of course, you'll get to enjoy some of the wonderful ARM historian emotes, like the ones I'm posting in chat right now. RNFX says MMT. Well, a lot of people are saying KotT might be our biggest hope of defeating Levan, right? And I definitely think he poses some serious issues potentially for someone like Levan, but I doubt. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't see Levan losing to anybody right now. It's just really hard to imagine. Who win? Hasbulla versus Coxal Baba, says Jabba the Hutt. I have no idea. Maybe you can inform me on what you think on that match. I know who Hasbulla is to a degree, but I don't think I know Coxal Baba. Hey, Karma's Promise, thanking Chuck there. If you're usually a lurker, Karma's Promise, or you're new here, either way, good to have you, man. Neil Pickpocket says, I'm surprised no one is mentioning that Ray ref the Levan Jerry match. Must be a story behind that. Yeah, I agree, that's true. I did see Ray reffing that match. Maybe he just wanted to, right? I don't know. Hard to say. Maybe there's like some personal issues going on there somewhere. Just speculation, right? It's also... We haven't talked about this, and I don't think we need to talk about this in any kind of depth. But have you guys heard about these cut out of the press conference? Where they cut out a certain amount of footage from the press conference, for those that don't know. Certain comment Devon made, if I'm not mistaken. Archdog says people are saying Levan is only going to do a few more matches and then walking away from the sport. I'll be pissed. I don't know about that, man. It would surprise me. Let's go with Operation Titanic. Yeah, that sounds good. As a working title for the video. Yeah, we're working on a really long video. Like my estimate is like 40 to an hour, like 40 minutes to an hour, but it might be less, it might be more, we're not too sure. But yeah, been working on that video for a little while now. Hope it'll be good. Gonna try and push it to be released before the end of the year, but I will see. Jerry versus Gennady rematch, please. Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that. Roy7 says if you're in a losing position and commit a foul, the ref stops the match. Why would the ref bail you out? That doesn't make sense to me. Usually they give you the loss if you're in a losing position and commit an egregious foul. So that's not really bailing you out, right? Like, if you ever see a ref stopping the match and just giving the person a foul and bailing him out, which happens a lot, but that means that ref didn't think they were in a losing position. Or they weren't fouling in a losing position, right? You know what I mean? Which, I agree, it's pretty subjective most of the time, but that's just how it is, right? Musclebike says, I don't see MMT stopping Levan. Yeah. If Devon can't. Yeah, I hear you, man. I kind of agree there. Armwrestling fan says Levan will break Mike. The Kings is not indestructible to Yetis. So true. Would be awesome to see Levan like covered in snow. Having lived in the wilderness, in like the Siberian wilderness for a couple of months. I don't know why it would be awesome, but it just would be. Juduval says thoughts on Brandon Alcesser versus John Terrian. Not a lot of thoughts. I guess it would be an interesting match as far as North America goes, right? John Terrian is a Canadian, if I remember correctly. Brandon is an American. Yeah, I haven't heard from either of them in quite a while. Yeah, would be interesting, I think. I don't really have thoughts on who's the favorite there. Probably Brandon, but I don't know what kind of shape he's in. they didn't want a ref from the person's country for bias reasons. That makes a lot of sense, Archdog. Makes a lot of sense. Roy7 says, yeah, they cut it out because Devon has no filters. Yeah, that's an understatement. Gorilla versus Polar Bear match in 2025. Crazier things have happened, I'm sure. Fine to edit the video, but leave the press conference live, please. Yeah, I agree. Hey, Tomer, no worries, man. Check his army story and show the graphic. Yeah, hang on. I'll pull it up, Chuck. Have to open Discord here for a second. Jabba the Hutt says, need a new Ultimate Arm Wrestle Championship. No weight class. Yeah, maybe. It would be interesting to see, like, the top guys in a round-robin kind of situation, right? Devon even says it. The ref bailed Levan out. Might be true. For example, Route 3 versus Hermes versus Levan. The ref bailed Levan out. I know that happened a bunch of times yesterday. Yeah, I could definitely see it. Like, I definitely disagree with the refs on what constitutes a losing position sometimes. And I do think it's very inconsistent, so I do agree with you there. I was first in line to say that Levan giving up those last 2 rounds in his Hermes match should count as Levan taking 2 pins. I don't know why it doesn't. Why it somehow makes the match 4-0 instead of 4-2. I don't get that. Personally. Hey, Arm Wrestling for Nerds, what's up? Good to see you, man. Been a while. Tomer says, what did they cut out? Am I understanding the situation right? Yeah, they cut out a piece of the press conference live stream where Devon said some questionable stuff. Totally uncalled for in my opinion, but yeah. Jabba the Hutt said, what's the song playing? It's so groovy. That's Where We Want to Go from Patrick Kios. Damn, that's a mouthful. So yeah, Where We Want to Go. Yeah, there's some cool tracks in here, right? They're all like completely free to use, so big shout outs to my man Patrick. Oh yeah, also really interesting, and I haven't told this to Chuck, who's working on like the research for the next big video coming out. Another friend of mine is doing like a custom soundtrack for the video, so that will be nice. First time there's actually some exclusive music for my videos that you won't hear anywhere else. Chuck says the viewership today is great, the army is rising. Yes, indeed. Although I do have to say, usually these live streams do especially well, and I understand why, of course. I'll try to get some more guests on. I want to get Krasimir on, actually. Jabba the Hutt says, who's the worst arm wrestler in history? I don't know, probably someone we've never heard of, right? You mean the worst professional arm wrestler? I don't know, man. That's a tough call. Who do you think is the worst arm wrestler in history? Grizzly Casey says high-level tournament style would be awesome. I agree. The worst pro. That's tough to say, man. I can't even begin to speculate on that. A lot of people think Ryan Grandin is the worst. Wait, who was I keep blanking on his name. Who was the guy who used to wear plateau shoes? Like, I think he had a match with Ryan Bowen at some point even. There's like this really old footage where he's wearing plateau shoes. Musclebike is giving himself up for the worst arm wrestler in history. Says he can do it as long as we believe in him. So yeah, Chuck and I have been working on a video. Chuck has been aiding me very generously with the research, which is saving me a ton of time and allowed me to put out a bunch of videos this month. more than I usually do. It's one of the reasons that I can do that and that I did that without like 4 or 5 videos in 1 month. So yeah, big shout outs to Chuck, who's helping me behind the scenes. And we've been working on a video. I'm pulling up a graphic right here that will give you kind of an idea on the kind of video that we're making. But something that I'm gonna try to release before the year is over. Very long video. I don't know if it'll do well, but I hope it will. Here we go. So yeah, I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with like iceberg kind of videos on YouTube. But yeah, it basically goes through every tier here. This is like the highest level of the iceberg that's above the water is surface level stuff about arm wrestling. There's a couple of examples that we've put there, that Chuck has put there, of stuff we're gonna be talking about, or I'm gonna be talking about in the video. And the deeper you go, the more obscure it's supposed to be, right? You can see stuff like Schoolboy on the top tier. Obviously, a lot of people know about Schoolboy, very surface level. You go deeper, you kind of get a little more obscure stuff, right? This is the buckle is disadvantage, game of arms, stuff like that, that not every arm wrestling fan is necessarily aware of. And then you go deeper and deeper, right? And you can see some of the topics we have here. Just a little sneak preview there. But yeah, if you've got any ideas for something to put in there, some obscure fact, or it can even be a meme or something like that, something you think that's interesting for people to know about, related to arm wrestling, related to our culture of arm wrestling, let me know. Send me a PM on Discord, tell me in chat here, hit me up on Instagram, wherever you want. You can even comment on any video. Yeah, and if it's interesting enough, we'll include it in the video. So something to look forward to, a quick preview there. I hope you guys will like the video when it does come out. But yeah, feel free to hit me up with any of your suggestions. Pulling John not on there, says Grizzly Casey. That's a good point. Maybe Pulling John should be on there, right? It's a very good point. It might be in the full list. I don't think we have every single topic that we have so far on the picture there. But yeah. Jacobin says, cool idea. Thanks, Jacobin. It was Chuck came up with the idea. The first recorded arm break was in the movie The Fly. Yeah, that might be the case. I don't know if that's true. Muscle Bike, but that's interesting. I definitely know which one you're talking about. Roid rage is definitely not a myth in arm wrestling. You think Devon wasn't under the influence a bit at that Morozov thing? I don't know, man. Devon has been kind of acting a little whack lately. What about Popeye? Jeff Dabe, says Jabba the Hutt. Yeah, I've covered Jeff Dabe a couple of times in, I think, 2 different videos now that I made. And even a short. So yeah, I dig Jeff Dabe. And he can definitely be on the iceberg. Schoolboy made the surface, that's true, yeah. I think that's the place he should be, right? Should the fans petition Todd to cut to 85 and ruin Samusha's fun? Can you imagine? Yeah, huge shout out to Chuck. Yeah, he's been helping out. Huge shout out to all of you, man. I think we broke records with viewership today, so I really appreciate you guys being here. Talking about arm wrestling always makes my Sunday. Old Moldy Scroty coming in with a super chat of a of a currency that I'm not totally familiar with. 35 Azar. Because what is it with Devon's voice sounding more and more like Travis Page and super gravelly these days? Yeah, I've heard that, man. Muscle Bike says, thanks for the super chat. I've been saying this about Devon's voice for 3 years now. Interesting. Yeah, I do know what you're saying, and I've seen other people saying the same thing, man. I don't know. Some people are saying it's the roids doing it to his vocal cords. Other people are saying it's the smoking. Like, I know Devon probably smokes weed. I don't think that's like some big secret. So yeah, it might be that too. I don't know. Hard to say, right? Maybe he's just yelling a lot lately. Hey, Gert Dylan in the chat. How you doing, Gert? Good to see you. Yeah, Old Moldy Scrody. Thanks again, man, for the super chat. However much that may be, doesn't really matter. Thanks again, man. I appreciate it a lot. Keeps me motivated. Tomer says, anyone have any opinions on Devon's roided up voice at the interviews at the end of matches? Yeah, there you go. Sounds like he's been smoking something radioactive. So yeah, a lot of people talking about Devon's voice. Maybe that should be my next video, right? What the fuck is up with Devon's voice? It's like, while I was saying this, I was thinking that's such a stupid idea, but I bet it would get a ton of views. Which is, you know, I don't know what to think about that. Roy7 says Devon was probably shouting all day. He didn't have a voice by the end of the night, and he looked super stoned too. Yeah, he was after all kind of on his home turf, not really, but I'm sure he wouldn't have any issues, smoking there. But yeah, it's basically all speculation, right? Oranda Children says he chats with everyone for a few days and his voice goes hoarse. Yeah, I can definitely see that. Devon like just shouting too much and talking too much. That's definitely a possibility. Let me quickly go back to this. There we go. Yeah, I don't know why, but the chat window is giving me some issues here. Tomer says, yeah, I think it's the roids. Didn't know he smoked weed. That changes my opinion on quite a bit. Actually, didn't know that. I don't think it's that big of a deal, to be honest, Tomer. I wouldn't hold it against him. I don't think it changes a lot, personally. You might have your own opinions about it, of course, and that's totally fair. But to me, the fact that Devon smokes weed doesn't really change anything. Gertillen says, doing great. Miss King of the Table, though. Yeah. That's totally fine. I think he'll survive, Gert. Tomer says, the rise and fall of Devon's whiny voice. Chuck says he should put some stem cells in his vocal cords. Jabba the Hutt says we should talk telepathically, so no more hoarse voices. Yeah, just a completely quiet event. Everyone just looking at each other. My grandma watches the event with me, says Levan Slayer. She got a crush on Neil. How can you not, right? How can you not? Bob Anderson says, just give Devon a high dose of edibles without telling him. He will miss the go. Maybe he'll perform even better. What if he trains stoned all the time? That's just second nature for him, right? Thumbnail for the video. Devon on trend? Red question mark. Yeah. It's so bad that those videos would do really well. And meanwhile, I'm struggling here. Tomer says, does Devon actually smoke weed? Yeah, of course, Tomer, he does. I think, judging by your... I know you're still relatively young, Tomer, and I'm not meaning this as a diss or anything, but judging by your reaction, I think you would be surprised how many people smoke weed. I think you'd be surprised. Old Moldy Scrody says his voice sounds like an old DKW engine on Idle. This is all very good stuff in my upcoming video about Devon's voice. Gertillen says Canada allows weed too, don't it? Yeah, I think it does, yeah. Jude Duval says, I think Devon versus Tobias is an interesting match. It seems like a big part of Tobias' game is technique. I think Devon's left is weaker than Corey's, but I think he will deal with a technical hit better. Yeah, might be the case. Might be a good match. I don't know. My instinct is Tobias will take that match, but might not be. Roy7 says, of course he smokes weeds, that's why he has the hobo look, doesn't give an F. I don't know, maybe that's just Devon. Just more Devon than the weed. Do a tournament of arm wrestling after weed. Wouldn't be that much different, maybe. I know plenty of people who have done pretty well at tournaments while they were under the influence. That's a weird camera distortion. Eric coming in with another super chat. Thanks so much, Eric. Thanks so much. You know, and I don't want to complain here, but if you would have put all those super chats into one, YouTube would have taken a lot less money from you, right? You do know that, right? But thanks so much, Eric. I don't really care about if you send it in one or not. It's all good to me. Says, send you DMs on Instagram, be there or be square. I'll hit it up, Eric Harlan. I'll hit up the gram for you. I'm gonna take a quick look if Neil Pickup is going live with the fix, or maybe he is live already. I don't know. I kind of doubt it. It's probably still recovering, but maybe. Usually I kind of stop when Neil goes live, which is about now with the fix. And then after the fix, I know Aussie Arm Wrestler goes live a lot, so... let's take a quick look if Neil is going, in fact, live or not. It doesn't look like it, so I'm okay with going overtime a little bit here. Tomer says, I know that a lot of people do it because people do it outside my school after it closes. The whole school does pretty much. Just didn't think it was in his personality. Huh, interesting, okay. I always thought it was pretty clear looking at Devon that, you know, kind of a stoner. But maybe that's just because I've been around a lot of stoners, right? Chuck says, okay, I have to go to sleep. Work is waiting tomorrow. Yeah, I hear you, Chuck. I won't be on for too much longer. Do the vid comparing past voice. I don't know if... I don't think I'm really going to be doing the video. Maybe I'll make a short on it or something. But yeah, I don't think... fuck. It would do really well, but I'm not going to be making... I'm not going to be making... What's up with Devon's voice videos. There's plenty of channels who make those kinds of videos already, right? I don't think you guys need more of those videos. Jutuval says, still need history of the dad move. Now you can talk about how they even won a world title match. Yeah, that's true. That's more in the direction of a topic I would cover. Tomer says, was the Brian Eddy match one of those things on arm bet where it only takes one round for his bet to win? Yes, it was. It was a shutout stake, indeed. Chuck says, let the booby story and meet you in your sleep and have a lovely night. Have a good night, Chuck. Hope you have a good night dreaming of the booby story. And how can you not, right? Soon Geert will have a week off, which is awesome. Means you can train with us again, Geert. I'll start watching the fix again when Neil takes the match with Paul Maiden. I'll tell him next time Musclebike that he should take that match. Okay, chat, I'm gonna make a promise to you guys. I'm gonna try to, like before I quit here, right? Because I'm gonna be stopping the stream pretty soon. It's getting really late. And I'm getting tired, honestly. My voice isn't quite at Devon levels, but it's slowly getting there. So yeah, hang on, give me 1 second here. David Simpson says, wild that Eddy kept holding on to Brian while being so good in the strap. Didn't understand that. Yeah, I think it's kind of a in the moment kind of thing, right? I'm sure looking back on the match, Eddy himself would probably try to avoid that in the future, is what I'm guessing. But yeah, here's a promise I'm making to you. I'm gonna try and get someone on for next live stream, like an arm wrestling athlete or personality or whatever, on for next live stream. I'm gonna contact someone and I'm gonna try to make it happen. I've said this so many times, and usually the thing is, usually people are very generous with their time and are very willing to come on my live streams or live streams in general. I've had Pauline here, Ryan Bowen, Reno Message, so people are very generous with their time if I ask them. It's just a matter of me having to put in the time to actually prepare something, right? Yeah, and that's my promise to you. I'm gonna try to make it happen. Even if it doesn't work out, at least take some solace in the fact that tried. But I think that's a good thing to try and do to improve the live stream, right? Because I don't want it to stagnate. I actually want the live streams to become better. Even though it's like mostly a thing where I'm just having fun with you guys, shooting the shit about arm wrestling. But I do want them to improve. Just like I want my videos to improve, I want my live streams to become better too. And I think that's one of the ways that I can potentially do that, right? Get some more voices on the live streams and invite some athletes to come and talk about interesting subjects. So that's my promise to you guys. That's my way of saying thanks for being here every week, or giving me a shot if you're here for the very first time. Those who support me financially by buying memberships, giving memberships, buying super chats, I greatly appreciate you. Yeah, you guys keep me motivated. Every single one of you that watches keeps me motivated. So yeah, thanks again. I just want to say thanks, and that's what I'm gonna try and do to kind of pay you guys back in a way, right? Get you some interviews with some guys and think of some actually interesting questions, maybe some questions that haven't been asked before a lot, right? So if you've got any opinions on that, any suggestions on interesting topics I can talk about, or any people that you'd like to see on the live stream, hit me up with that. And yeah, I'll see what I can do. I'll use my extensive connections within the arm wrestling world to get someone on. My very extensive connections. David Simpson says, wild that Eddy kept holding. I already read that. Hirtulen says, heavy work week. I hear you, man. Kinda busy. Jacobin, you the man. Arm historian. Oh, you the man, Jacobin. Thank you so much, guys. Hit me up, same time, same place, next week. And yeah, I hope you enjoy your week. Until then, as always, Arm Historian out. Bye-bye, guys.